If I brought a Geiger counter near this banana right now, it wouldn't scream in terror. But make no mistake, this fruit is emitting radiation right this second. So does that mean bananas are dangerous? Should you stop eating them? Or throw away your fruit bowl? Well, inside every single banana, there are roughly 15 radioactive atoms decaying every single second. If you walk into a supermarket, you're literally surrounded by thousands of tiny atomic decays happening all at once. Before you run away and put on a hazmat suit, don't panic. Welcome back to the Daily Q. Today, we're diving into the weird science of why bananas are radioactive. To figure this out, we have to look at the main reason people eat bananas in the first place: potassium. An average banana contains about 450 milligrams of potassium, which is great for your health. But here's where things get interesting. Potassium in nature isn't just one single type. It exists in 3 different forms, called isotopes. About 93% is potassium-39, around 7% is potassium-41, and an incredibly tiny 0.012% is potassium-40. That tiny fraction, potassium-40, is unstable. And because it's unstable, it naturally decays, releasing a tiny amount of radiation. Banana trees absorb potassium from the soil as they grow, and that includes tiny amounts of potassium-40, which eventually ends up inside the fruit. What's even crazier is that this potassium-40 has been around since the Earth itself formed billions of years ago. Even dinosaurs were exposed to this exact same natural radiation. Potassium-40 has a half-life of about 1.25 billion years, which means it decays so slowly that plenty of it is still around today. So how do scientists measure the radioactivity inside a banana? They use a unit called the becquerel. One average banana measures about 15 becquerels. A becquerel simply means 1 radioactive decay per second. So 15 becquerels means roughly 15 radioactive decays every single second inside one banana. But can that actually hurt you? To answer that, scientists look at something called the radiation dose, measured in microsieverts. Eating one average banana gives you only about 0.1 microsieverts of radiation. In fact, scientists even created a humorous comparison called the banana equivalent dose, or BED, to help explain tiny amounts of radiation. Now let's compare that to everyday life. Simply living on Earth exposes you to around 8 to 10 microsieverts of natural background radiation every single day. That's roughly the same as eating around 80 bananas. Ever flown on a commercial airplane? A typical flight exposes you to around 30 to 80 microsieverts because at high altitudes, there's less atmosphere protecting you from cosmic rays. That's the equivalent of eating hundreds of bananas. What about a chest X-ray? A single chest X-ray delivers about 100 microsieverts of radiation. That's about the same as eating 1,000 bananas. And a CT scan? Depending on the scan, it can expose you to anywhere between 2,000 and 10,000 microsieverts. Compared to all of that, the radiation from a banana is practically insignificant. But now comes the biggest plot twist of this entire video. You don't need bananas to be radioactive. Because you are already radioactive. The average adult human body naturally contains around 4,000 to 5,000 becquerels of radioactivity. Most of it comes from potassium-40 and carbon-14 inside your own body. In fact, sleeping next to another person exposes you to slightly more radiation than eating a banana. So what if you decided to eat 50 bananas in one day? Would the radiation build up inside your body? No. Your kidneys constantly regulate the amount of potassium in your body. If you consume extra potassium, your body simply removes the excess. That means the amount of potassium-40 inside you stays almost constant. Long before the radiation became a concern, you'd probably be dealing with stomach problems or potassium overload instead. So why don't bananas set off radiation detectors? Because the radiation they emit is incredibly weak. Most of the particles don't even escape the banana itself. Only highly sensitive laboratory instruments can detect them. And bananas aren't the only naturally radioactive food. Brazil nuts are actually more radioactive because they absorb tiny amounts of natural radium from the soil. Potatoes, beans, and spinach also contain naturally occurring radioactive isotopes. Even things that aren't food, like granite countertops, and the smoke detector in your home involve naturally radioactive materials. The truth is, natural background radiation is everywhere, and that's completely normal. So let's bust the myth once and for all. Bananas are not dangerous. They're perfectly safe, healthy, and packed with nutrients. You can enjoy your banana smoothie or banana bread without worrying about glowing in the dark. It's just another reminder that nature is full of fascinating surprises. Before we finish, here's a quick recap. One banana exposes you to only about 0.1 microsieverts of radiation. Flying in an airplane or simply living your daily life exposes you to far more radiation than eating bananas ever will. And finally, your own body is naturally far more radioactive than a single banana. If you enjoyed learning this surprising science fact, don't forget to subscribe to the Daily Q for more fascinating questions answered. Leave a comment with the next mystery you'd like us to explore. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious.